Hey guys, Stones here coming at you with a weekend recap video of everything that I got from yard sales, garage sales, and another electronics recycling event. Pretty much everything's going to be from the electronics recycling event. Thursday, no garage sales or yard sales because the weather is changing quickly here in Ohio. It was raining, and I just assumed that there wouldn't be anything out there, so why even bother? I did a quick lap around town, didn't see anything, so I just went home, called it quits for the day, and went and saw a movie that I had been wanting to see for a while. Then Friday I went out, the weather was clear, drove around, found several yard sales and garage sales, spent money at two of them, $15 a piece at each one, and found out that they actually started their yard sale or garage sale on Thursday when I thought there wasn't going to be anything. So I missed out. So I kind of wonder what I wasn't able to buy or what was bought before I got there. And then everything else here on the main table is from the electronics recycling event, which was wild. It was crazy. It was the biggest one we've ever had as far as attendance. But I'll talk about more about that later. Let's really quickly look at everything that I bought at these two garage sales on Friday. Again, I spent $15 at one and $15 at the other one. The first one that I spent $15 on, I bought this box of, it's basically paraphernalia, menus, maps from Vegas, from different resorts, from different hotels, from different casinos. $15 for the whole box. Casino stuff, especially Las Vegas stuff. It's kind of like amusement park stuff. If you have stuff from an amusement park or a ride at an amusement park that no longer exists, some of that old stuff, that memorabilia, has value. Now people are more into ashtrays and poker chips and that type of things, but some of this other stuff can sell for money depending on where it's coming from, if it was a very famous casino or one that's been gone for a while. So I didn't think $15 on this was too bad. What I'll do is I'll throw this aside, and when winter comes, there's no more yard sales or garage sales, just like some of the other stuff, I'll start sorting through this, listing it slowly. Some of the cool stuff are these passports and these fun books and things like that. There's probably $15 in one piece here, but some of it's going to be junk. Some of it's I'm going to throw away, but again, not too bad. Something that I'll save for a project later this year when there's nothing else going on. Then at another garage sale, I spent $15. This was literally in a bin, and the price said $15 for everything in the bin. It was all pretty much car electronics. There's a TomTom down there. Those have almost no value anymore. I used to pick those up all the time, but I don't even grab them for free at the electronics recycling events anymore because there's just no value. But I was really surprised and actually kind of kicked myself at first. I'm like, why am I spending money on electronics when the very next day I'm going to be bringing home a carload, as you can see, of electronics for free? Why am I paying money for electronics, especially since I'm not even sure if they work or whatever? But I did, and I was really surprised because there's a couple preamps here, power amps, amplifiers, that type of thing. And they have some value there, $30, $40, maybe $50. There's two of them. There's a Sherwood and there's a JBL. But what caught me off guard was this Pioneer stereo system. I didn't know it had this value. It has the remote. The last one sold in auction for $150, which they shouldn't have done. You should never put anything in auction if there is established values, if there has been past sales for that item that have been established and proven. You should never sell anything in auction unless you just want that money really fast. In used condition, the last one sold not in auction for buy it now price of $300. And I don't even know if those had the remote or not. So easy $300 here. So now I'm glad that I spent the $15, and I'm not mad at myself for doing that and making a bad choice. So on to the electronics recycling event on Saturday. Once again, if you've never watched any of my past videos, I'm a part of an electronics recycling company. My buddy owns it, and throughout the warmer months of the year, he holds these electronic recycling events. It's literally a pop-up event that he does in conjunction with a city or a town, sometimes a business, an organization, or an event like Earth Day or whatever. but he's been focusing more with just working directly with towns and cities because they seem like they do a better job at promoting it. And this town is the cream of the crop. They are our best client, if you want to call them that. So we went to this town for the first time last year. They held it at their public library, and we had over 350 cars show up for this event, dropping off their electronics to be recycled. So an average event for us is about 150 cars shows up at an average event. A good event is anything over 200, and obviously we've had events that almost no one showed up at. So, you know, if we get 100, 150 cars, that's just an average, good, solid event for us. Now, these events, we normally run them. There's two different types of events. We hold them for 3 hours. If it's a new town or city that a new location that we've never been to before, or we do it for 3 hours if it's an established location that we visit more than once a year. So if we go there twice a year or 3 times a year, we just do a 3-hour event because we just assume that anyone that had stuff to drop off came to the last event. So we only do 3-hour events. We do a 4-hour event only if it's established location that we've done before, but we only do it once a year. This location, we did it for the first time last year, and then we returned on Earth Day weekend earlier this year, where they had 450 cars show up. I wasn't there. I was at another event because we had multiple events going on that day. But then this event, we actually had for the first time a 5-hour event. We've never done a 5-hour event before, but because this town shows up, we agreed to do a 5-hour event, and we had a record-breaking over 600 cars show up to this event. It was insane. It was nuts. And yeah, as you can see, it had a payout, right? And I was able to bring home lots of stuff. Now, the ironic thing about this is with the amount of stuff that we got from those 600 cars, very little video game stuff. Normally smaller events, I bring 3 times as much in video game stuff, but very unusual stuff this time, very unique stuff that I haven't seen before at these recycling events. So I'm going to quit talking about the event itself and show you what I got, kind of highlight certain things. I don't even know where to start. Cameras, par for the course. I grab up any camera. Now at this event, I just threw things in boxes because there was not enough time to even think about what I was grabbing. Anything that doesn't work, anything that doesn't have value. For example, this Minolta camera, really poor condition. It's probably going to go back to the recycling company at the next event. And as I test things and I look things up, if they're not worth any money, or if they're not working, I'll bring them back. So cameras, I've been grabbing up digital cameras like crazy this year. Again, the Minolta isn't worth anything. This Nikon film camera, if it works, $40, $50 on that. Some loose batteries for a Sony camera. I don't even have the camera here. This JVC has all the cables, even blank cassettes, blank tapes. If it works, we're looking at maybe $75, $80 on that, but I don't have a battery. I might have one in my bin of stuff. GoPro, I've never gotten a GoPro before. This is a Hero 3, so very early version, worth maybe $40. I have a few GoPros that I'm eventually going to use for different projects and different things. So I'll throw this in with my bag of GoPros just to have in the collection. iPods, pick them up every time. The older generations, these what I call the brick iPods, sell really well. If they work, there's good money in those. Watches. One is an Apple Watch, one is not. This box does not belong to the watches. There's no watch in there. I've never even seen an Apple Watch box before. I didn't even know what they came in. So maybe I can match the watch with the box and just throw that in there. I don't know. Some tape recorders. Some of these can have good value. If they're working, I'll throw in like a blank cassette with them. I've sold those quite often in the past. Haven't had any recently. This is a good Bolo. I was surprised on the value for this. This is a preamp for a guitar, an effects amp, not really a pedal, but an effects component for a guitar, and this thing is worth about $200 in used condition. There's brand new ones for $300, but $200 in used condition. I was really surprised on that. Funny thing is, here's another car radio. This is actually for a boat. This is the Clarion Marine, so it's meant for, it's probably more waterproof is what I'm guessing, or something. Maybe $50 or $60 on that. Another digital camera back there. It is pretty messed up. I don't think it's going to work, so probably going to go back to the recycling event next week on that. Here we have two different CPAP machines. You cannot sell these on eBay because anything that is prescribed, any medical device, is banned on eBay, or if you try selling them, you could get in trouble. Respironics is a recalled brand. So there's a company, I've talked about this before, called secondwind.com, SECOND wind.com. They will buy them from you if it's a model that they think they can resell or refurbish. If it's a discontinued model where they can't get the parts or the pieces, they won't take it. If it's one of the recalled models, they won't take it. I'm kind of like, what now, 5 or 6 for 0 technically. So every one that I've submitted so far, they haven't taken. There was one that they did take. They said they were going to pay me $50. Then I had a tech call me up and say, oh, this is probably the way that it's looking. It'll probably burn out here really soon, so we can't really give you anything for it. They ended up giving me $20 for shipping and for the parts and things like that. Bose radio. These do really well, even for parts, even if they don't work. There's a company that refurbishes them, repairs them, but for parts only, you're still talking $40, $50 if it works. Hundreds, 100 at least, 150 depending on the model. This one has a little bit of damage, so I'm not expecting much. There's technically my only game system. It's a Wii. Connect above there, and it was funny, she dropped off the Wii, and then she said, you guys don't take the video games too, do you? And I said, yeah, of course. So she actually went back and brought them back. So have a bunch of video games there. So there's some of the games are missing in there. They're just cases, but most of the games are there. There's a Wii Sports in there. There's Wii Sports Resort. Of course, those are really good titles to have. There is a Skylanders base. That's the Xbox One version, which is, I think, the better version, the one that you really want to look out for. I have a bunch of Skylanders that I'll probably just put that with them for the listing. There's a Nintendo DS. I got a couple of those at the last recycling event. No charger, but I have quite a few chargers. And that looks like a PlayStation 4 controller, I think. I've never had one before. A bunch of gaming keypads. These are worth $20, $25, $30 a piece. What else is it? We got a bunch of CD players, Walkman, CD Walkman. Here's a cassette one. These actually sell for money. Here's a true Sony CD Walkman. Your Durabrand is probably not going to sell for anything, but even JVC, Panasonic, Philips, those can have some value. Some PlayStation headphones. These look very nasty. They're breaking apart. They're deteriorating. I grabbed them anyways. This digital sonar handheld unit, whatever that is, I looked it up. We're looking $40, $50 on that. Somebody dropped off a huge box of these old audio equipment components, like very old. Still have the manuals. That's why I didn't take them out of the bag, so I don't lose the manuals. Some of the stuff has value. I saw one of these units listed for over $100. This Micronta multi-tester, I don't even know. Some of the stuff I didn't even look up. Some more old components. Again, I grab this stuff and I don't have time to look it up, especially when you have 600 people showing up to your event. And once I figure it out, some I'll keep, some I'll sell, some will go back. Here's a golf simulator. I was really surprised on that. Shout out Harry Tornado. This is probably worth, the prices are all over the place on this, but I'm thinking at least $100 on that. I've talked about these before. This is the printer head for the Office Jet Pro printer series. you take them out. The prices have gone down. Matter of fact, I just sold one this morning with ink. I can get about $70 for it. I used to get $100 on those. And then I got really excited because I thought that was a brand new Sony DualShock 3, but it's not. It's been used. They just put it back in the box. So that'll go in my bin of controllers that I'll pair up with the systems later on. A Coolpix S220. This is one of the plum colored ones, or the purple ones. So looking at about $100 on that. See if there's anything else that I'm missing here. Some kids games. I actually found a bunch of those at the Goodwill bins the other day, so I'll just throw those in and update the listing. These came with a Wii. I have not seen a Guitar Hero guitar at all this year. I have yet to seen one at a garage sale or yard sale, thrift store, or anything. So these are the first ones of the year. I don't know what the prices are what they're at on these anymore. They used to get some good money. The Wii ones are nice because there's nothing really that can go wrong with them, because the controller is not inside the guitar themselves. You put your controller in the little slot, and it's just a shell. It's just a shell. So technically, they almost always work. The only thing that goes wrong with these every once in a while is the whammy bar starts. It has drift. You know, it no longer goes back in place, and they get loose sometimes or whatever. And I think this might be my best find. I got 8 of these. I think it was 8. These are Zebra thermal printers. If you're a reseller like me, Zebra is one of the brands that people like. I got 8 of these in used condition. If they're working, over $100 a piece. Even for parts, $50 a piece. So even if they're not working, $400 on the whole collection. And there you go. That's what I got. Mostly electronics recycling event stuff. Crazy weekend with a huge attendance and turnout. And I think it really paid off. What do you guys think? Let me know. Thanks for watching. Take care.